Hi, my name is Ed Katersky. I'm the Chief Engineer and Product Manager for Manitou Suspension. We're here to talk a little bit about the Dorado downhill race fork. We have two models, the Dorado Pro and the Dorado Expert. Internally, those forks are identical. The most important visual cue is the Dorado Pro has polished black anodized crowns and dropouts, while the Dorado Expert has shot peened and black anodized crowns and dropouts. Now, looking a little further, the amount of machining to remove material in those crowns is less on the Experts. In other words, a little less machining reduced the cost at the expense of a little bit more weight. Looking a little deeper yet, the type of aluminum used in the legs of the Dorado is different on the Expert. While that enabled a significantly lower cost to the consumer, it does require us to use a thicker wall on those legs, which further increases the weight differential between the Pro and the Expert Dorados. All of those, both the Dorados use our 20mm hex axle. It's a 36mm stanchion. Now, like I said, internally they're identical. Since the Dorado was completely redesigned in 2010, differentiating it very significantly from the first generations, which ended in 2005. The cartridge is a twin tube style cartridge, which creates a long pathway for the oil to circulate through the damper, and it prevents the air inside the fork from moving into the damping circuit, which keeps the oil clean and free of gas bubbles and keeps the damping force very smooth and stable. Now, the Dorado cartridge is probably one of the most sophisticated damping circuits on any suspension that I've ever seen. It has 4 different damping circuits. We'll start with the low speed adjustment, which also controls what we call our TPC plus circuit. That's a tapered needle. A tapered needle is velocity dependent, so in other words, the damping force responds most significantly to the stroke velocity, which is controlling the amount of oil that's being pushed through there every second, let's say. The next circuit is the high-speed compression circuit. That circuit is spring preloaded, and you control that with the black outer knob on the compression adjuster. Because it's spring preloaded, it responds mostly to pressure, so it's a pressure-sensitive damping circuit. Going to the next system in there, the TPC plus circuit. That is a second piston on the compression assembly that's moving back and forth, and under certain scenarios that piston moves a little bit and it has a bypass circuit that feeds towards the high-speed compression. If you stroke the fork the entire distance but very slowly, it won't fully engage. Under square-edged bumps, high velocity but very short, the system still will not fully engage. But when you have a high enough velocity for a long enough stroke duration, that piston will move completely over, closing off the bypass and engaging that second shim stack on that piston, which makes the damping force much firmer. That's responding to the total energy input into the system. So the third circuit there is an energy-dependent damping circuit. Then moving on to the last circuit, the hydraulic bottom out is a position-sensitive circuit. It's only responding at all when the fork is deep in the travel and it reaches a certain position in the stroke, then the components are engaging the hydraulic bottom out. Now, if you engage that bottom out slowly or you engage it at a very high velocity, that force is going to change also. But primarily it is responding to the position of the fork. So there you have 4-dimensional damping: velocity dependent, pressure dependent, energy dependent, and position dependent. While it's very complicated, it enables the Dorado to perform well and exceedingly well in a wide range of conditions, and it allows the engineer to set up this fork to cover the broadest range of trail and terrain conditions and rider preferences. Currently, the Dorado is available right now in 26 and 29-inch wheels, and later this summer you'll see that available in a 27.5 specific package. So the outer legs, the upper part of the slider that's held in the triple clamps, is going to be a unique part for the 27.5. Internally, the cartridge and the air system will be unchanged from the 26. So it's really looking forward to that. It's a neat wheel size for downhill, and we'll be ready for that this year.